Okay, I think we are good to start. So again, I would like to thank everybody for attending. Our webinar today is all about attracting new patients with 4 content strategy secrets, brought to you, of course, by iMatrix. So we have a little change of pace today. Although my screen shows you that it's hosted by Kelly Denbiser, today we have a little bit of a different person. My name is Justin Allen. I'm the Director of Account Development and Product Strategy here at iMatrix, and I may not be as cute as Kelly, but I am pretty good at what I do as well. So unfortunately, Kelly was a little under the weather today, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill in for her. But don't you worry, I know what I'm talking about. So now that we've got the who's who out of the way, let's go ahead and jump on in here. So in today's presentation, we're really going to be covering about 5 different core concepts. And I know it's 4 secrets in the title, but it's really 5 individual things. The first is why your website actually needs custom content. 2, why keywords are instrumental in your content strategy success. 3, how to build a blog that educates patients and increases your search rankings. 4, the most effective social media strategies to help you grow your business. And 5, how press releases build brand awareness and online ranking. So let's move on to the next slide. So why does your website need custom content? Well, I've got some great stats here to start us off, and I'm going to read them first and kind of go in and explain a little bit more about custom content in general. So right off the bat, we know a couple of statistics that we have from some great sources. And the first is 61% of people feel better about a company that delivers custom content. Now, the one thing about custom content when we're talking about custom content is we're actually referring to actually personally written content. Now, here at iMatrix, when we build a website for our clients, we build with what we call token content. And what it is it's content that is pretty generic, and we're able to actually insert our businesses or our clients' information into these particular placeholders. So what ends up happening is it says, you know, we have a fixed paragraph with a couple of fill in the blanks that we use our client's information for. And not that that content doesn't work and it's not great, but when we can get content that is written by our clients that is more specific to what they're doing and in their style of writing, it definitely comes off much better. Additionally, organizations providing custom content are usually interested in building good relationships. Now, this is a little bit of an assumption, but it's an assumption that we don't make. It's an assumption that search engines make. And so one of the things that search engines love is they love content, especially custom content. Addition to that, 50% of consumer time online is spent engaging with custom content. So typically when people are online, they're reading, they're watching, they're really engaging with something that has been created for them to interact with. And of course, lastly, 78% of small businesses attract new customers through social media. Now, one of the things that we always talk to clients about and say, look, custom content is there to do really 2 things for you. And we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but the first thing that we want custom content to do is we want it to help us rank better. We really want the ability to perform better. And Google has done all of these algorithm updates that look at the content of your website. In fact, Google is scanning your website all the time, sometimes many times per day. And the goal is to look at your website and see, hey, did anything change? Did we add anything unique? And then when you do add something, Google compares that to everything else that's out there. And they say, is this content unique? Is it custom? Is it anywhere else? Is it just here? What keywords are on it? They look at everything. And based on their algorithm, which every time they scan your website gets updated, which is a lot, they make a determination on where you rank. So the more custom content that you have that is related directly to the keywords that you want to rank for, the better chance we have it coming up higher. Additionally, custom content also has an opportunity to help us convert better. Now, custom content, it doesn't necessarily just mean writing. Content in itself is very generic. And content can really refer to everything from text that you've written on your website, pictures that you've created, that you've taken, drawings, multimedia, video, Really, custom content is everything that goes on your website that isn't really the code. So when you're looking at a website, obviously any of the pictures that aren't really stock are going to be part of this custom content. And you may say, well, how does Google know what this picture is? How do they know it's custom content? Well, you actually have the ability to tag the pictures you have with keywords related to exactly what it is that the content is related to. So if you're a veterinarian and you show a picture of a dog getting his teeth cleaned, we have the ability to tag that photo in the code of the website, letting Google know that the photo is related to, a dog getting his teeth cleaned. So really, content and custom content in general is a huge source for how well we're going to rank. Now, a little bit of a history lesson here for those of you who don't know. If you go back many, many years and you look at the code of the website and you look at search engines, when search engines started to figure out and they say, okay, we have so many websites out there that we're just automatically scanning, how do we determine who comes up for what? A long time ago, they came up with this idea of something called the meta keywords of your website. And I'm sure everyone is, well, maybe not everyone, but I'm sure most of you have heard the term meta keywords or keywords in general. When we're talking about meta keywords are really a code that you put into the website and you put in your keyword. So in the past, if you were a chiropractor, you would put, adjustment, chiropractor, chiropractic, chiropractic care, chiropractor here, every other possible conceivable word that was what you did. Now, the problem is that businesses would, and people who do SEO and build websites started taking advantage of that to the extreme. They would fill in hundreds, if not thousands, of these keywords, and they would do it on every page of every website. And it got to the point where people just abused the system. And the search engines once again had to say, well, hey, this isn't really working. What's next? And over time, Google, especially as a leader in the industry, has said, look, we are trying to figure out what the website is without you telling us what it is. So one of the things that they do to determine it is they look at the content of the website. And through their algorithms and through their codes and through everything that they've created, they have a pretty good idea of what your website is and where it works. Now, the content is that crucial piece of information that helps it determine what exactly it is. And the way Google looks at this is they say, look, how much content do you have? How new is that content? How often do you update it? All of these go into factors on where you're going to rank. And when I say rank, what I'm referring to is your ability to come up in search results for keywords related to your business. So if you're a dentist in San Diego, we obviously want to come up when somebody types in dentist in San Diego, or where they type in dentist and they're in San Diego. We want to be a search result. So the way to do that is by providing valuable, good quality content. Now, Google also has another thing, and this is a problem that we run into with our clients who don't have a good grasp of the way this works. Content has to be custom or unique when we're talking about putting it on our website. And this is different than social media, so I do want to be clear about this. Social media and your website have two different strategies when it comes to putting content on there. And when it comes to your website, we want unique/custom content. What does that actually mean? It means that you have to have written this yourself, and it shouldn't be in another source. So it's kind of like plagiarism in school. So in college right now they have, and even going back to my days, they had a lot of programs that would take your paper that you've written and put it into a database to see if it matches up with anyone else's paper. Google basically has the same concept. They take your website, they take your content, and they say, is this actually unique and custom? And sometimes one of the problems we run into is our clients will actually take from other sources. And unfortunately, plagiarism in college gets you in a big trouble. Plagiarism on the internet gets you in the same amount of trouble. So what happens is when Google does see that, hey, you took content from another source and didn't cite it correctly or didn't attribute it correctly, or the website is just built of content from other sources, they have a tendency to say, this isn't a valuable source of information. And what happens when Google determines that you're not a valuable source of information is they lower you in the rankings. And that is really the last thing we want, because the goal of a website in most cases is to make us visible to prospective clients and patients. And if it's not doing that, it's failing. So when you're thinking, when we're talking about custom content, absolutely make sure it's not content taken from another source. That is always going to be key and important. Now, let's talk about specifically the keywords. Now, again, you say, well, Justin, you say don't put meta keywords into my website, and I reaffirm I don't want you to do that. But what does that mean? Well, keywords are things that you would put typically into the content of your website. So for example, let's say, once again, I'm going to go back to my favorite example of being a vet. And the reason I'm going to do that is because my wife actually works as a veterinary assistant here in San Diego for one of our clients. But let's say you're a veterinarian and you want to come up for teeth cleaning. You're doing a teeth cleaning special. Dental month is February. I can't remember. There is actually a veterinary dental month. I don't remember what it is. But let's say hypothetically it's this month, March. So we want to come up in search results when somebody types in, hey, I need to go get my dog a teeth cleaning. So what do? Well, the best thing we can do is create content that is specifically around teeth cleaning. And we can do this in a variety of ways. One way I'd recommend is we can create a page about it. So we can write a page, hey, the subject line in the page could be teeth cleaning, canine teeth cleaning. And then we write our content, we include some pictures that we provide the content on, and we can do that. Now, you're seeing on the screen there's something called long tail keywords. Now, long tail keywords are keywords that don't get as much search because they are a little bit longer. So, for example, let's say, and forgive me, I don't know some of the medical terms, but let's say we're a veterinarian, and veterinarians will know there's a surgery called a TPLO, which is a heavy-duty surgery. Not a lot of veterinarians do it, and not a lot of people are going to search it. But someone who is told by their vet, hey, your dog needs a TPLO surgery, and all of a sudden we're looking up what a TPLO is because it's very expensive. So we want to be able to come up for those kinds of results. So we want to make sure that we're including longer tail keywords in the content we're creating. So if we want to come up for it, we need to create it. Now, the second point here says avoid keyword stuffing. Now, keyword stuffing is kind of like what I described before with the meta keywords. We don't want to overdo it. You don't want to have a paragraph written that says, here at San Diego Vet, we do teeth cleaning. We do teeth cleaning. We do teeth cleaning so good that your dog's tooth is going to be so cleaned, and you get the point. You don't want to overdo it. You want to write naturally. I don't want you to overuse the keywords. I just want the subject matter to be about what the keywords are in the title of the page. Now, when we talk about keywords and we talk about descriptions, one of the other things we're talking about is on the website itself, on your home page, not only do you have the meta tags or the meta title as the meta keywords as an option, but you have two other meta sections. One is a title and one is a description. And the title, I always tell people, is one of the most important lines of code in the website. The title should say what you do and where you are. If you are a veterinarian in San Diego, it should literally say veterinarian in San Diego or something along those lines that's enticing. The description, the meta description, should be a little bit more in depth about the things that you do. If there are specialties you have, if there is something that you're known for, really the meta title should be a short blurb, and the meta description should be maybe a sentence or two that's a little bit longer than what it is. Now, you'll see here that they've provided a graphic that shows you it shows you on the search results what a search result would look like. Now, the one thing I want to point out is where it says your business in blue, this is actually what, in this case, the meta title is. And I wish they hadn't used an ad related to it, but it's fine. And then below it, this would be where the meta description is. So when you're looking at a search results page, these are the meta title and the meta description are what typically comes up in the search results page, as long as you've put that into your code. Now let's move on a little bit. Now, blogs. Blogs are your SEO secret weapon. Why are they your secret weapon? Well, to be honest with you, blogs are a fantastic way to add fresh content. A lot of people we talk to who are actively blogging typically blog once or twice a week, or 2 to 3 times, per month. Depends on how often you can do it. And the reason blogs are so great is because over the last many years, with the advent of WordPress and Blogger, blogs have become very common. A lot of people like to blog, and blogs are a great way to share quality and good information. And blogs don't always have to be just text. They could be video blogs. You may have heard the term vblogs or vlogs. And these are all designed to provide you with an opportunity to do fresh content. And on your blog pages, you can actually add keywords. They can be added to the title of the blog, they can be added in the description of the blog, and they can actually be included into the actual blog itself. Now, the awesome part about blogs is because every time you blog, you've created an actual new page of your website. And it's not really a primary navigable page, so it's not one you would normally go on that would be displayed at the, on your navigation bar where it's home, about us, contact us page. But it'd be underneath our blog page. But it allows us to create additional content, grow the size of our website, and show Google that we are a source of information in this particular field. And the more valuable a source of information we are, the more likely clients are going to find us, because Google is going to move us up. And because we provide such good content, potential clients are going to see that we do that, and we are going to come off as more trustworthy, and we're going to see more clients. So we get some great traffic from there. Now, the other benefit of blogging is oftentimes someone may see our blog and link it on another website or their own blog. We call these backlinks, and they are the ultimate, I don't want to say, they are one of the best possible ways we can help with improving our website ranking. When somebody takes our backlink to our blog and posts it on their own website or their own blog, they are basically indicating on their own website that we are a good source. The more websites do this for us, the better that we're going to perform. Now, the one thing I'll warn you about is there's things called link farms. There's services where they say, we'll give you 100 backlinks, or for $50 we'll do 1,000 backlinks. Be wary of those. And the reason I say be wary of those is because they're usually link farms. And what a link farm is usually it's a company that's usually based overseas, and what they do is they say, okay, they contract out to they have a team of people and say, look, this one website over here in the US has said that they want 1,000 backlinks, so we have 1,000 really crappy websites, pardon my language, and we are going to link back to their website with all these really bad websites. Now, the problem is Google recognizes the quality of the website linking to you. So you might have heard the term PR rank, or page rank. And PR is, you can have a ranking from PR 0 through 10. And what that basically means is and by the way, page rank is not, and this is a little bit of a confusion for a lot of people, page rank doesn't mean where do you rank on the page. For those of you who don't know, one of the co-founders of Google, his last name is Page, Larry Page, and this was a formula that was created a long time ago to indicate the popularity of a website. And there's actually plenty of websites where you can go to do a page rank checker, and you'll get a score from, again, PR 0 through 10. Now, a PR 10 is for a top 10 website. It is a website that is a huge source of information that is constantly updated. The websites that are going to get a PR 10 ranking are websites like CNN.com. That's the kind of source you're going to get at that level. And as you come down, you're going to go to a local business. Now, I don't want you to be discouraged if you go look it up and you have a PR 0 or a PR 1 or a PR 2. Those are actually pretty normal for a brick-and-mortar business that is an actual business in the real world. Websites that get higher PR rankings are ones that actually have a ton of content, and I mean like thousands upon millions of pages of content. So don't be discouraged if you go online and check and you see you have a low PR score. That's not a problem. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because when you get a backlink, if a backlink comes from a website that is of a higher PR, it helps you out quite a bit. That page rank says, hey, look, here's a really great source of information, and they're saying that you're a good source of information, and that is going to help you rank really well. So when we write really quality blog posts and really good stuff, if it gets picked up by like a publication or an online journal or an online peer, it is going to help us, as long as they link back to us, it is going to help us immensely on our website. So for example, some of our clients will actually write for online journals. You know, if you're a vet or a chiropractor or an optometrist, there are online journals or periodicals that sometimes you can write for, and in exchange for writing an article for them, they'll say, hey, you can, you know, we'll put a little information about you and link back to your website. Those are phenomenal sources of PR, and they help us immensely with ranking really well. So the content that we create has the ability to help us rank much higher, which is what we really obviously want to do when it's all said and done. All right. Now, I jumped the gun a little bit because we already started talking about links, but with great backlinks, we really can help us out. Now, this is as it relates to social media. So the slide title for here is Social Media Content Boost Engagement. Well, this is kind of the next way in which you would use content. Now, a lot of people say, hey, you just told me everything needs to be custom, and I don't want to put something somewhere else where it's not supposed to be. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Social media itself was designed to share popular content. So unlike a website where it's viewed as plagiarism, if you take from another source and you post it on your website, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Google+, it is all about sharing what's already out there. It's about sharing content and reposting it and really getting it in front of viewership. Now, what happens is if we share really great content on social media, so let's say we write an amazing blog post and it goes up to social media. Social media is a fantastic way to actually get it out into the world and let other people see it. And that in turn has the ability to be reshared. So on Facebook, I don't know if you've ever seen something and then reposted it or reshared it. You have the ability to do that. And it's a fantastic way to kind of create a mini viral campaign. In addition to that, it's another opportunity to make other people aware of your content. So if you have a bunch of colleagues on social media that see your post and they link back to it, whether it be on their website or on their social media, again, we're creating and building online traffic, and we're having a lot of people start to move towards us. So we always want to improve what we're doing. We always want to share it. Now, again, if you write good content, share it on social media, but make sure you link it back to your website. That's going to help you out immensely. The other thing people don't know is, and this is a little known secret, if you post content to Twitter from your website, we have the ability to index much quicker. Google indexes content that's posted to Twitter a lot quicker than just getting your website. So if you want to rank better, make sure you're posting content to all your social media and definitely include Twitter in that mix. And let me pull up a couple of notes here for you guys. Just bear with me. So we're good there. Profile ranking is another way in which you can improve. I mean, the truth is when you do searches through social media, there's the ability to come up in different orders. And there's the ability, just like on your website, to rank higher or lower. If you're posting good content and you keep an active social media profile and you're engaging, it's going to help you rank better. And the truth is the way in which your social media profile comes up, how active you are with it, does impact our ability to rank for our website. So one of the other things I wanted to mention when it comes to social media is a lot of clients come talk to us and they say, look, I don't get business from Facebook. I don't get business from Twitter or Google+. And I agree. You more than likely, you probably don't get a whole lot or any direct business. Very few people are going to call you up and say, hey, I saw you on Facebook. That's not saying they don't or they can't, but that's not the norm. However, your profiles, if they're active, if they're well done, if people are following them, can affect your ability to rank well. There was a report done, and this is unfortunately about a year old, but it's still very telling. And it took basically all of the rankings, because here's the problem. Google doesn't actually tell us what are the factors and how much they're weighted for how you rank. And not only do they not tell us, but they change daily. Literally, they change almost every day. There's an update to the algorithm. But what we do know is that social signals, things like likes, +1s, all of those things do have a strong correlation to how well a website ranks. So when they start pulling apart, why are you number 1 and why are you number 2, social indicators tend to be some of the top 10 reasons for websites not ranking or some websites ranking below other websites. So you want to keep that in mind when you're thinking about social media and you're engaging with them. All right, so let's talk a little bit about press releases and building brand awareness. So what is a press release? I'm sure you've all heard of what a press release is, but a press release is a public relations announcement that is issued to news media and other targeted publications for the purpose of letting the public know of a company development. So what is it really? Well, online on the internet, at least, a press release is a little different than in the old-fashioned days of a larger company doing a press release. A press release basically goes out. There's these press release companies. There's several of them. And what it does is it goes out to these companies who distribute it out to their sources. And basically, they're a system that sends it out and just spits it out, and it goes on The Wire. I'm sure you've heard, hey, there's an article came on The Wire. It's an old newspaper, an old newspaper saying. But what it basically means is they've distributed this out to all of the potential sources, and some sources will pick it up and run with it and publish it, and others won't. Well, on press releases, and with the wires that are out there today, there are a lot of people that just pick up everything, and then they just post to it. And so what happens is when you use these services like PR Wire, what happens is this press release that goes out with all these keywords and all these links back to our website actually creates all these individual pages that link back to us. Now, there's good and bad news. The good news is press releases are a fantastic way to get out there. The bad news is press releases aren't as impactful as they were, say, a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, a press release was an amazingly powerful tool. And it helped us immensely with getting recognition, creating backlinks, and really just building up our online presence, or what some people call our online mojo. Today, not as powerful, but still definitely important. There's still something that adds value to what we're doing. Now, we want strong press releases when we're talking about doing a press release. And a strong release is really something that helps us. And by strong, what we need is it needs to be about a strong subject matter, something that is relative or important. One thing we say is, I have a client who says, hey, I want to do a press release. What should I do it on? And the problem is they come up with the silliest thing to do a press release on. Like, we got a new piece of equipment. Well, what is the equipment? Oh, it turns out it's a nail clipper. It's a nail trimmer. It's a new Dremel. Well, the problem is it's not really good enough for a press release. So we do want to save a press release for something that has some kind of value. But in that press release, we obviously want to talk about what's so great about it. We want to talk about why it matters. And of course, we want to talk about the keywords, the things that are related to our business and how we want this to rank. And of course, it's got to have our information in it, our contact, our address, our website. That's what makes a strong press release, and that's how a press release can actually help you. And through press releases, we create these natural backlinks because all these other credible sources that publish these press releases create those backlinks. That's what helps us. And of course, we have brand recognition. If by chance, we see news articles come out, or let's say hypothetically, somebody is considering coming to your chiropractic office, and they go and decide they want to do a little homework on you, and they look you up. Well, in the news summaries, your press releases are likely to come up. It makes you a more credible source, and the more credible source you are, the more likely that the patient is actually going to say, you know what, I actually feel more comfortable. I'm going to go ahead with this doctor. And that's really what it is. And the keyword linking we already talked about. So in conclusion, and I know this wasn't terribly long. I know we're sitting at about a little under half an hour for this, but it's good, kind of solid information. In conclusion, though, the answer is we really do need to come up with custom content. And it's great to have a strategy that helps us. The more custom content we have, the better the chances are that our website ranks really well, and the better chances are that we have someone who can actually go from being a visitor on our website to being a client or a patient who walks through our doors and we get to service. So I would like to open up the floor for some questions. You should notice a little feedback here, and I'm looking for the questions bar in my section. Chat questions, perfect. So if you have any questions, I'm going to kind of hang out and answer some questions for a little bit. And let me pull this up there. So take your time, find the questions. Give me 1 second. Unfortunately, the window isn't loading fully. Let's see. And I do have a couple of questions already here. Come on out. Pop these questions out. There we go. Okay. No, that's not a question. That's not a question. Okay, first real question is, will the deck be available after the meeting, or should I be taking good notes. Okay, well, I'm sorry I didn't answer that till now, but the deck will be available after our meeting. In fact, we record these webinars, so the truth is you can actually get a full recording of the webinar. Just send out an email to our support staff, support@imatrix.com, and they'll be happy to dig that up and provide it for you. It may take us a little later today or tomorrow to actually have it available for you guys and edited down, but we'll have it to you as soon as we possibly finish it out. Will there be any written notes? We do have a written note section. I'll make sure that they provide that in there as well. And okay, we got the questions streaming in, so bear with me while I address these. And I'll do my best to answer everyone's questions. If I can't, I'm sorry, but I will get that. Would using a professional writing service for you, would this classify as custom content if it is specifically uploading to my blog? And this is from Jorge. Jorge, yes, the answer is it would be valuable for you as long as the content they're writing is unique and custom for you. So if they are writing content for multiple sources and it's the same content, it's less valuable for you. Now, some people might point out, hey, we have a newsletter service that actually all of our clients use. Now, our newsletter services, when we publish newsletters, are not indexable. So we tell Google specifically, hey, this isn't content we want you to index. This is just content for the patients and the clients that we share. So there's a little bit of difference between the content that we create for our newsletters and the content I'm asking you to create. So if the professional writing service can write something good for you that is specifically for you and is comfortable putting in the correct keywords and it sounds good, the other thing I'll warn you about is sometimes professional writing services go overboard, or out to sea, not out to sea, over the sea, over the pond, all the way to India and Pakistan. And if the content isn't written well, if it's poor, grammar, it is not going to have the same impact in both SEO and conversion. Because if somebody reads it and it has poor grammar, poor syntax, and it doesn't really flow well, they're going to know, hey, this is just spammy content. Okay, so Anthony asks, how frequently should you post new info? Well, Anthony, it really depends on what you're capable of. The more frequently you can post, the better. I mean, I don't want you to post every 5 minutes, but if you can post new content every once a week, I think that's a great place to be. Every other week, okay, it's okay. It depends on what your needs are. If you are in a market that is incredibly competitive and we have a ton of other businesses that are ranking above you and we need to beat them, well, then we need to be more aggressive. That's another thing to keep in mind. If you're thinking about custom content as a tool to help you rank better, you need to do more than what your competitor is. And if you're well behind them, not only do we need to play catch up, but we need to exceed what they're doing and more. So I recommend, it really depends on your scenario. If you're sitting pretty, you're #1 organically for everything you want to rank for, I recommend still writing content at least occasionally, because it'll keep you as a valuable source. Because if you do nothing, you sit there, eventually someone's going to catch you. And it doesn't always take that long. Sometimes it's quick. So Laura asks, how do I get traffic to my blog on my website? So the blog is done through iMatrix, but it seems like you never have any traffic or comments. Well, Laura, the truth is I don't, and again, this depends on your perspective. If your strategy is to have a blog for the purposes of ranking well, I don't really care if anyone ever comments on it. I don't even care if there's any traffic on it. What I do care about is that Google sees the content that's being created and moves you up in the rankings. That's what I really care about. In the end, for me, the end result from this conversation is, how do I create a new business that I didn't have before? And sometimes it's not through direct traffic, but indirect. The blog doesn't necessarily have to get a lot of traffic in order to be valuable to you. And that's kind of a little bit of a misconception. It's kind of like social media. It doesn't directly impact your business by sending you a new business, by sending you someone new, but it does have an impact on where you rank. So how do I add tags? Well, it depends on where you do it. Our system actually does have the ability, if you're using iMatrix, our platform does have the ability to add tags to images. It is a function in our gallery, and there's ability to further edit and add tags on the pages. John, there's actually a great support page about this on our, I believe it's imatrixsupport.com. Let me pull this up real fast to confirm it's still that URL. We might have changed it, so I don't want to give you the wrong URL. iMatrixsupport.com, I think is what it is. And nope, of course it's not it. Support.imatrix.com. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what it is. Is it support? And I'll have to double check. I know our support staff moved this recently because we had an update. Oh, it's support.imatrix.com. So if you get an opportunity to, you can go to support.imatrix.com, and we have really great. This is a fairly new website for us as far as supporting our clients. There's video tutorials, there's instructions, and of course, if you need some one-on-one help, call our support staff. That's what we're here for. That's what the service is, and we'll be happy to help you. Rebecca asks, can I access other past webinars? Yes, Rebecca, we do have them online. If you know which webinar you want to access, send an email to support@imatrix.com, and they'll be happy to try and find that for you and send it over to you. Okay, here's a good question from Liz. Is advertising on review sites like Yelp and Angie's List effective? So this really depends, Liz. And the truth is, I always tell clients, everything is relative to you, your market, the competition, because what happens is when you advertise, it depends on the cost of advertisement, and a lot of places like Yelp and like Google use kind of a real-time bidding system. So they say, okay, how much do you want to pay per click? And this allows everyone else to say, oh, well, I want to be number one, so I'll pay a little bit more per click, and they drive the costs up. So one of the things that we always tell clients is, look, you have to kind of explore it. Does it always work for you? And who's putting it together for you? So sometimes the truth is, I'll be honest with you when it comes to Yelp, and I'm a little biased. I love Yelp as a free service. I don't actually always recommend their advertising. I've only had one client who can actually tell me that Yelp advertising worked really well for them. And so that's entirely up to you. If you've tried it and you've seen great results, keep doing it, but be on top of it because it changes. If you haven't tried it, I would be very skeptical. It doesn't always work very well. And the problem with Yelp is when you're advertising, you have to understand you're actually advertising inside, oftentimes, inside someone else's listing. So if you go to Yelp and you pull up a listing, you'll see sometimes an advertisement for a competitor. I hate those advertisements. And part of it is because, you know, someone who's in internet marketing knows what they are and doesn't like them, but it's how Yelp makes money. And the truth is, I don't know that it performs that well. And even if it does perform, you do want to make sure it performs better than other sources. So just because you're advertising on Yelp and spending $1 into Yelp doesn't mean that the same dollar won't yield you a $3 return on, for example, Google's AdWords. So you kind of have to play around with it, and it's an ever-changing environment. You can't ever say, okay, it's working, and it's always going to work. It's always changing. You always have to adapt. You always have to adjust, and that's one of the challenges of internet marketing in general. So how can I use ChiroMatrix to edit the website on my own and create my own custom content? Well, Michael, I know it says you've left, so you're not here, but I'll answer this anyway because I think it's a great question. Our website editor is actually very easy to use. In fact, if you want, you can always send us an email with the content you want added if you want a new page and just list that. Or we have great tutorials on how to set up a new page and really edit it. It's to be honest with you, it's incredibly easy. Let's see. Okay, so when adding content for educational resource purposes, will the content of a PDF be recognized? Chris, not from an SEO standpoint. If you don't care about the SEO, providing a PDF is fine, except one thing. Keep in mind when you put a PDF up there, depending on how you display it, if you require a download to access the information, there's a chance that the visitor won't download the information because they don't want to download something from your website. A lot of people are kind of, you know, we're all scared that, oh my gosh, that might be a virus. So a lot of people won't download those things. So usually if it's content, I know it might already be in PDF form and it's easier for you and you have the formatting already done, I would probably recommend converting that and moving that to an HTML-based provider. The content can be searched via search engines, and at the same time, no one has to download anything. There is a way to make a PDF display, but that also requires that the visitor has a plugin or a reader that works for that. So you kind of want to be aware of that. All right, I got another question from Janet. Wasn't quite sure about the press release. Were you talking about us connecting to a press release that is relevant to us, or putting out a press release about our business? So the press release should be about your business, and I'm sorry if I wasn't clear, Janet. But it needs to be something about your business that is worth sharing. I don't mind if it's a piece of equipment that you want to get, as long as it's significant. You don't want to make a press release about something that is really insignificant. So finding what that finding what that item is going to be up to you, and going from there on a press release. So it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. On some of our service levels, on our higher service tiers, we do those press releases for you. On your own, you may want to, there's all sorts of sources online to help you determine what you should be writing, and kind of, there's great templates out there for how you do a press release. Kim asked about more in-depth information for writing blogs. We do have webinars and instructionals on how to write blogs. Go to the support.imatrix.com page. I believe a lot of it is posted there. And if not, send us an email to our support staff. They'll be happy to provide you with links and or downloads. So so I got a good question. How does content posted on my Facebook page get linked back to my website? Well, if you are taking the link from your website and posting it to your Facebook page, so here's what I would want you to do, Susan. In the real world, the way to do this would be to write a blog post on your website and take that URL and paste it into Facebook and post it that way. What we want to do is have the link so that people can click on it and go to your website. I don't want to then repost the information on Facebook and not link it back to the website. So we're kind of teasing them on Facebook, saying, hey, here's the information with the subject line and a little bit of text. But we want them to go back to our website to read it, and that's how we're getting the backlink. Okay, and I apologize. There's so many questions. I'm going to have to start kind of skipping through because I only have a few more minutes. 1 second. Okay, so Doreen asked, how does it help you if your website company posts weekly on your website? Is this considered custom content if it is also used with the other clients? So if you're talking about us, when we post content to all of our clients, we use what's called a no index or a no follow. We're telling Google in the code that this isn't an indexable piece of content. It's not custom, but it does add value. So we can actually tell Google, hey, don't use this content for that. Now, if they're posting content unique and custom specifically for you, which we will do for our clients at higher service tiers, that's where it becomes valuable. If it is the same content, it's not that great. The question Anthony asked, what about local directories like Yext? So Yext is more than a local directory. In fact, Yext is one of about 6 companies out there that take your core information and distribute it out through really this web of directory systems. And we used to not tell clients what these systems were, but I don't mind sharing them. They're Yext, Infogroup, Localese, Newstar. These are the companies that other companies get data from. And what happens is companies like Yext and like us, because we actually use one of those companies, Infogroup, we have a corporate account with them. We use them for our clients, and what happens is we distribute your business information, and it gets filtered out through all these directories. And what happens is because we confirm the information, it has a better ability to rank better. I don't recommend Yext. In fact, Yext approached us as a service provider for the service we offer because we do offer a service that's very much like them through a different company. But in the end, Yext was quite expensive for what it was, and we didn't see the value in it for us. If our blog is hosted on a completely separate URL, this is a great question from Tim, can it still serve to improve SEO on our main site? Tim, the answer is yes, but not as much. Keep in mind the URL that you have your website on. So a lot of people do like Blogger websites and or WordPress.com, or so it'll be WordPress.com/ whatever our blog is, or something.blogger.com. If we're linking back to our website, we're talking about our business, we're creating good content out there on the internet, and it will have an impact on our website. But it won't have as good of an impact if the blog was actually on the website, because what we really rather have is good content on the website that makes the website bigger. In the way you're describing it, you're creating content on another website that is linking back to our website. So it's great for backlinks, but the content isn't showing Google or the other search engines that our website is growing. So it does have value, just not as much. As far as doing press releases on, honestly, PR Web is one. There's a ton of them. Honestly, you can do a search and just type in press releases. They're all very similar. It's going to be a cost issue. Press releases, I'm not going to hide the fact, they are kind of expensive. So you'll have to check it out and see which ones are valuable for you. Is there an easy way to convert a PDF to an HTML? Unfortunately, Chris, I don't believe there's an easy way. There are some programs out there that you can purchase them that'll help, but unfortunately, Chris, No, there's not really an easy way. I've had to do a lot of those manually, and they're not fun. Okay, and I know there's a bunch more questions, and I apologize, guys, but I am going to go ahead and cut us off for now. If you have any additional questions, do not hesitate to call our support staff up. They will be happy to actually help you out. And I forgot to actually click on this. Call our support staff out. They will be happy to answer all of your questions. We have great resources at support.imatrix.com. And if you've been a client with us longer than 6 months, you actually are now part of our account development team, which is a group of people who are here to actually help you as your account manager. So they'll talk to you about how well you're ranking. They'll talk to you about services they might recommend. If you're interested in different service tiers with us, they can kind of go over the pros and cons of each one for you and see if they actually make sense. So if anything here is something that you'd like some professional help with, by all means, contact us. Let us give you an idea of what we can do and what the prices are and all that stuff. We'll do everything we can to help you. And the truth is, even if you're a do-it-yourselfer, we'll walk you through kind of the basics on what you can do on your own, and we'll give you as much guidance as we possibly can. That's what we're here for. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the webinar, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. And thank you for attending, and we certainly appreciate your business. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.